My name's Dave Dubeau, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
Hey folks, welcome back. Today, big treat, got a fellow Canadian on the call with me. Owen Reimer is zooming in from Steinbach, Manitoba, and Owen is involved in multifamily and commercial real estate investing and development. And the cool thing is, he really laser focuses on properties in and around where he lives. So Owen, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thanks, Dave. Glad to be here.
So let's zoom out for a second. Give us the big picture overview of the current portfolio. What have you got in it? How much commercial versus commercial residential, apartment buildings versus commercial properties. And just give us a snapshot.
Yeah, really on the commercial side, that's what's got me into, I'll call it real estate full time. We bought a few properties, did some stuff to them, got them, either sold them or actually I sold all of my shares of all of them. So I'm completely out of directly owning commercial real estate at this moment. We are going to build our own office/shop, but that's our own deal completely.
Okay. So what kind of commercial stuff did you do?
Single tenant retail.
Okay.
So we did some single tenant retail. We bought an empty building, put a tenant into it, which is ourselves, for a business that I was involved with, increased, the value a lot. And then we left and I released the building out to Dollarama. We took a building, we bought it around 560, put about 150 grand into it. And when I sold it, it was worth 1.6.
Nice.
So, another one we bought was a Red Apple building. Same thing, we released it. So we bumped the rent, got a bit more of a valuation there, and subdivided a piece of the property off. So what I'm really into is what's called alpha management, where we drive the value. We don't just wait for the outside surrounding environment to change. We create the value, by
repurposing the property, subdividing the property.
Exactly. Yeah. So right now we just focus on multifamily development on its own. We've done a few builds. Actually, we just finished a build on a town called St. Pierre. Was a 36 unit. Before that, I did a renovation project here in Steinbach, and then we did a couple builds a couple miles away from Steinbach. We did two back to back at 20 and a 16 unit. So we're really just kind of getting the ball, starting small and learning our mistakes along the way, so that as we scale and build buildings that are a little bigger, a little more complex, that we're not making mistakes that could cost us and our investors money.
So give people a big picture overview. How big is Steinbach? What's the population of the town and the area?
Yeah, so Steinbach is approximately, I've heard, somewhere around 22,000 people, serves about 100 to 150,000 people as it's a center. And it's been growing every year for the last 20 years straight. Nothing crazy. Right now, I think they're adding about 800 people a year, somewhere in that range.
Well, that's fairly big for a town of 22,000.
Yeah. So, there's definitely a housing demand. Vacancy rates are hovering around 0. There's a bunch of new multifamily coming up right now. It was kind of held off there a bit with higher interest rates. Now it's coming back online. But it seems like as these buildings are built, they're just full. There's definitely demand. People are wanting to get out of, let's say, Winnipeg or other areas. There's jobs here, or it's not a far commute to Winnipeg.
How far away is it?
Well, depending exactly where, we'll call it 45 minutes-ish. And if you're living in Winnipeg, you might be driving longer than that to get to the job. So you might have lower rent here in Steinbach. You get the small town values and feel to it, where everybody's your neighbor type of thing. Lots of nice parks. Small town feel a little bit, but you have all your amenities of a bigger city, and you're close to Winnipeg if you need to go in. So
yeah, no, it sounds like a good location. Okay, so you're doing a lot of development and redevelopment. Are you a, build and hold guy, build and sell guy? What's the exit strategy.
And that's the good. There really isn't an exit strategy in the sense of like, we're not looking to actually sell the building in the long run. The idea really is we each build each building and do each building as an individual project, as an individual called limited partnership. Then the goal is, after a time period, give the investors an opportunity to either get out, basically we'll buy them out, or with the long ideas, what we're creating right now in the background, and we kind of been alluding to some of our investors, is we're creating a kind of a bit more of a fund structure where we'll kind of combine all these buildings together in one kind of giant pool, just to create better cash flow, liquidity, opportunities to use the equity in those pools to acquire more real estate and kind of create that snowball effect long term. So the idea is to build it well, but the idea to hold it long term and just kind of keep building on that. So that's the big picture.
That's the big picture. Now, we were talking off camera a little bit there, Owen, that that I haven't been interviewing that many Canadian syndicators these days, and we were talking about that it's not as big of a thing up here as it is down in the States. And what have been some of your takeaways in your learning curve getting into syndication in Canada?
Well,
compared to some of the folks that you know in the States, let's say.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just the information available on the legal and accounting side of it. Is a lot of groups don't understand what's all available and how to do it properly. My previous business experience, I was in what's called the exempt market space, and you run into and you meet a lot of people who are doing, we'll call it, it's like syndication. We'll call it is syndication. And I got to see all their documents, meet them, understand what they're bigger dollars, bigger companies. But I had examples, and a lot of people don't have examples. I get a lot of questions from local people saying, how do you do this? How do you build and bring alongside investors? How do you keep properties? Like, how do you structure yourself? Right. And so, having really good legal team in the background, and we've, jumped through one or two just to find probably one that's, they're not cheap.
Probably not located in Steinbach.
Not located in Steinbach. Actually, our one lawyer, we were talking to him in the early days saying, hey, this is the structure we're looking to do. Could you do this? He says, I'll leave with your guide. So, and which is really good, right? He knew which lane he wants to stick in.
Yeah.
And so you'll find the right partners in that regards. We don't say they're not our partners in terms of monetary wise, but they're just, you need to have a team. Mm-hmm. And so having the right team, meaning the lawyers, having the right accountants, bankers, all those pieces in play before you get rolling, it takes a lot of work and a lot of digging. But if you don't have those set up right, it's going to cost you a lot more money down the road with mistakes. Yeah. And that's where, investors like to see, does this guy have all those ducks in a row? Maybe he doesn't know exactly what he's doing when he's building a building. Same idea. I bring in project managers and stuff like that have experience, that have done bigger projects than I've done in the past, so that they help me avoid, the problems that could erupt.
Hey there, if you're a capital raiser, a syndicator, or a fund manager, and you're looking for a steady flow of incoming accredited investor leads, then go ahead, grab a free copy of my new book, How to Get 20 Accredited Investor Meetings Every Month Without Cold Calling, Networking, or Chasing People. You can get that at 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com. Again, that's the number 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com.
So when it comes to bringing on investors, raising capital, you've got a background working in the exempt market space. What do you find works best for you these days, Owen, for connecting with new investors and getting them on board?
It's the same exact thing that it was in when I was raising money in private equity. A lot of it's referral based.
Uh-huh.
You do a good job for people, and they end up telling 2 or 3 of their friends. Now, they're not always a good fit for what we do, and that's fine. But that's where you get them from, for the most part. That's what we find probably brings along the best investors for us, is our current investor base. So we want to make sure we do right by them, because they're the ones referring the people that they know that are going, hey, I'd really like to have some real estate in my portfolio. How do I do this? I don't really want to own directly a building and take care of it myself. I don't have time for that, or I don't have the money to buy, a $10 million building. I only got 2 or 3 or 400 grand or whatever the number would be. I can't do that on my own. How do I get involved? So that's what we're finding.
Very cool. So Owen, where are you taking your business, your company over the next year or two?
Well, that's it's always changing. People ask. So for example, we're just starting a build here in Steinbach. We call it the Wilson. That's a 32 unit. We just went in the ground this last week, putting in our land drainage system. We should start concrete work probably the next week or so. And people say, "Oh, aren't you so excited? And you're doing this, you're so involved." I'm like, actually, when the building starts being built, like I end up that's when I'm least involved. It's all that lifting I do before, acquiring the land, putting
zoning, permits.
But before that, even just the planning and getting all the buy-in from the city, making sure it all, fits all the different rules and regulations, things like that. So right now, what I'm doing is basically acquiring future options on land. And just because I go, well, what do I have in the mill that I can start building in 2026 or 2027? So making sure I have these options on different pieces of land really becomes the biggest thing that I'm working on behind the scenes.
And to find the land, are you going direct to seller? Are you going through realtors? What do you find works best for you, Owen?
Yeah, there's a couple once you start, you can buy a couple pieces of land, and you follow through, meaning you actually purchase it when you say you're going to, and you do a good project, and you have some good relationships with some brokers. There's most of the land that comes up in terms of multifamily often is sold before it hits the shelf. It's a nice way to say it. So making sure you have those connections and those relationships and just following up with them and talking with them, that works. And even talking about different creative strategies where, you look at what's out there and maybe saying, what could be rezoned? Where would be another good piece that we could do something? We bought a trailer park in a different community, and we rezoned and subdivided some of it off into multifamily. So, we call mobile home park land that was from 1970s, infrastructure's old and falling apart. And now we breathe some new life into it by saying this section here is going to be multifamily.
Oh, so you still got some mobile homes in the park, but you've sliced off a part of it to build an apartment building.
Yeah. And, the future really is the rest of the mobile home park will become multifamily. It's just, one step at a time.
Mm-hmm. You can't kick everybody out and
yes,
turn on to...
You can. It's just not that simple.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
You'd be surprised if people think they own the land when they're renting land from you. It's like, you don't own this. So making sure before you start that process that you have meetings with the town to say, like, this is our idea. What do you think? And, when they look and say, yeah, we're actually really excited that you're doing this. This doesn't really fit our community anymore. Not to say that mobile home parks are bad. That's not what I mean. It's just where it is in town, what it looked like. It didn't look great. Like it has.
Yeah, it's trailer park boys type mobile home park.
No, I know they're great tenants for the most part. That's not really. It's just the trailers there. I think the newest one was like from 1983.
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't mean the tenants. I meant the look of the park.
Like it needed fully the infrastructure redone, a layout redone for it to stay a trailer park, and the cost benefit on that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, that's exciting stuff, Owen. I'm sure there's going to be some folks watching or listening to this who would like to connect with you. What's the best way for them to do that?
The best way to connect with me and follow along with what we're doing is to find me on LinkedIn. I'm under Owen Reimer on LinkedIn. And we try to post fairly regularly what we're up to and different ideas, and try to teach people a little bit about real estate and the different kinds that are out there. So it's always changing and it's different everywhere you go. And maybe post some things that we learned along the way as well. So yeah, find me on LinkedIn, Owen Reimer.
You're probably the only one that's Owen Reimer from Steinbach, Manitoba.
Well, that being said, There are a few younger ones. When I grew up,
Steinbach.
I was the only Owen Reimer. And now there is another Owen Reimer. It's about 20 years younger than I am. There's a few times we've been mixed up. So,
Well, you're the real estate one.
there we go. Yeah, I'm the real estate one.
Awesome, Owen. Thanks so much for being on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
Been great. Thank you.
All right, everybody, take care. See you on the next one.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com.